All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday gathering for Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's Legacy. This is TokiTV. Today's Sunday, the 24th. Can you believe it? It's already almost the end of the year. It's so wild. But I really want to thank you guys for being with us. I'm super excited for our special guest today. Let's quickly go around the room and say hello, and then we'll get right to our special guest. Marcia, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. Getting ready for some holiday travel. I got my blog out yesterday, so a little late, but that was good. And I'm excited about hearing what Jay has to say. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Deb Cruz, how are you?
Hanging in there. I just got back from the Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship because Fred Lane was our guest sermon person, I guess you could say. Well, he had Richard Solomon with him, and that was nice. So it was a mad rush to get here, get something to eat, and get online. I'd like to, at some point in time during the show, maybe take a couple of seconds or so for oh my God, the name just went. Cato?
Yeah.
For his passing.
Yeah.
So
We'll
we do that.
We'll definitely do that today. Thanks, Deb Cruz. Peggy,
welcome, Jay.
Peggy, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and thanks for having me on again, and welcoming Jay to be our guest speaker today. I'm really looking forward to what he has to share with us.
Perfect. Howard, how are you this beautiful Sunday?
Doing fine, thanks. Just keeping my eye on the whales in the neighborhood. We have a couple of groups of whales, and neither have been ID'd to my knowledge, but I'm sure they're big transients over in Port Susan and up off Port Townsend. And a couple of humpbacks, 2 or maybe 3, that are just south of where I can see from my window. They're south of Point No Point, I believe. And I'm excited for Jay to join us today. I appreciate you joining in.
Yeah, thanks, Deb Cruz.
At some point.
Thank you, Deb Cruz, for getting Jay to come on today. That's really awesome.
Thank you, Deb.
No, that's Kurt's doing. You got to give a shout out to Kurt Rousseau too. He was the one who sent me the video, and I said, "Oh."
It's perfect. Thank you so much, Christina. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Nice to see you, Jay. I appreciate you coming. Thanks a lot. And it's just really exciting to be together with you guys, like always.
It's really, really cool. I appreciate everybody watching. I'm seeing like people are watching on different Facebook groups, Facebook channels, and YouTube. For those that don't know, Jay Julius is a fisherman, former chairman and councilman at Lhem Nation. Jay was a leader in the fight to protect Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, which some of you know as Cherry Point. He has organized and executed tribal, local, regional, and national campaigns. A bridge builder, he uses empathy and storytelling to bring people together. And boy, does he have a history of bringing people together. So thank you, Jay. Howard, I'm going to give it to you to give tie it in for us, how Jay is connected.
Well, I just know Jay was a big supporter of Toki Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's coming home. And I recall going into the fortress in 2018 when the totem was down there, and several of us went in to see her. So Jay and I were stealthily invading the fortress to be able to get a glimpse of Toki. So that was an adventure. And I just know Jay is a champion of saving our planet in so many ways and revising our role, our place in nature, because we colonialists have gotten it wrong. So with that, I would like to pass it on to Jay.
Hello, Jay. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, and thank you, Howard. Everybody here. It's a great honor, and Howard, thank you. And I remember that moment in 2018 very well, and I reflect on that and the move from Lummi Nation as a whole, as a nation, and getting her story out, and being there with yourself and your brother and many others through this fight and I really want to be careful myself personally on using the word save, because I think if we're going to use that word, or if I'm going to use that word, I have to know saving from what. We find ourselves using the word save the southern residents, protect them, but I think you're right, Howard. It's our ways of life, it's our philosophies that have kind of mess things up in the natural world completely. And if we can look at it from that perspective, and speaking for myself, then using that word is okay. But I think I'm very cautious about using the word save, because we are the problem. The two-legged people are the problem. It's our philosophies, it's our policies, it's our way of life. But I'm hopeful. I hold on to hope because of folks like you and all of us coming together, collaborating, and coming together for a common purpose. And I think it begins with us realizing that there's nothing more that everything in this world, on this planet, needs saving from. It's us and our ways of life. And once we can all acknowledge that together, and not point fingers and move forward in a different direction, I think then we can really embrace hope, and hope for everything that's suffering. I want to quote Chairman Wheeler from the tribute to the orca. We're going to watch a short film on that, but I want to quote him. Once we understand what the word suffering is, really, really, really what suffering is, it's a southern resident not being able to give birth. It's southern resident starving. It's salmon not being able to get home to die, but give birth to new life. That cycle, that's suffering. So I think if we can really hear and feel those words of Chairman Wheeler of the Nez Perce tribe, who's fighting to take down the lower Snake River dams, to hold on to a way of life, to continue to be salmon people, and understand ourselves what suffering really is. It's not being able to get a mocha today at Starbucks. It's not, our little sufferings and pains. No, there's real suffering around extinction and existence that takes place, and that's what we're fighting for. Existence, and to continue to live as one, connected. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you, Jay. Before we get to the film, we've been in November 3rd and 4th. As you know, Alpod returned to Penn Cove for the first time in over 53 years. And we've been having a lot of discussions about that. What are your thoughts on their return, Jay?
I mean, it again brings tremendous hope. And in the return, I'm not going to try to explain why they returned. I have to believe that there's ceremony, there's remembrance, there's celebration, there's that's just my belief, but I don't know exactly why. I think they suffer from a grief that most can't even begin to empathize with. So that return for me just leaves a lot of wonder in my imagination, and I have to think about spirit. I have to think about ceremony, but there's food, right? There's food down there right now, like hasn't been seen for a long time. A return of salmon, and I think that says a lot beyond science. It's common sense that the struggle to fill a belly, um, and feel safe maybe, right now in this moment in time. But it brings great hope for me.
Thank you. Howard, is there anything else you want to say about the fish in the area? Do you want to talk about that now before the film, or?
Well, I would love to hear everybody's perspective on what happened. It was really between November 1st and November 5th that they ventured in, and first they went to the scene of the terror of the bombs in the water, and they hovered in that location for part of a day, and then they went up close to Penn Cove but didn't go in, and then the next day they went in partway, about halfway, and then on the 4th was when they went right to the scene of the terrible tragedies of the loss of their family members over 5 decades ago, and only one was actually there. So that tells me so much about shared memory, and I think it's a revelation to me that it could be so clear. They were clearly responding to that tragedy, that trauma that they experienced or they heard about, their family experienced so many years ago. And it just deepened my sort of understanding and empathy for the orcas, that they would feel that for so long, and still do, no doubt. So, I still think there's much more to contemplate about that visit to Penn Cove.
Too. Let's get to this film, and then we'll talk more about Sk'aliCh'elh, Jay's organization, and kind of everything that they're up to, because they're up to a lot of things. And but let's go ahead and watch together. Get comfortable. 7 minutes. Thank you, Jay, for letting us show this today, and for you guys making it. Go ahead and add it to the screen here, and here we go.
Have you suffered lately? I don't know if any of us have suffered lately. I was in the sweat lodge last night suffering with the heat, and it brought this to mind. The orca, our brothers and sisters that are swimming, searching for food for weeks and weeks without eating, and their calves dying because of lack of, or their inability to reproduce. That's suffering.
When we saw the footage of TokiTV and her baby, and she was carrying her dead baby around for many days, and I felt that she was showing the world, this is what's happening. I'm showing you my human family. Please pay attention. Please pay attention.
What I hope is it will teach people spirit, teach people an understanding of spirit, that mother carried that baby that it loved, and it mourned it, and it was saying, who's responsible for this? Why did we allow this to happen?
Well, we have a common relative. It's called the salmon. The salmon are in our waters at the mountaintops, and they're in the sea with our brother, the orca. So that's what makes us relative.
And we love that spirit of the salmon. It's a powerful thing. How the buffalo was to the Plains Indians, that the salmon was to us. That's why we take these steps to protect it, to take care of it. Because like anything in spiritual way of life, you love it, you take care of it, you cherish it, when you need it, it's going to come around and do the same for you.
We have blocked up the system. So when you look inside your own body, you know that when you have a blocked artery, it's a serious problem, maybe a heart attack.
Those dams have an effect on the out-migrating salmon that allows us not to harvest our fair share of fish that were promised to us in the treaty. And those that contend that these dams and salmon can exist are completely wrong.
We have to allow the salmon to come back up the rivers and the creeks and the streams. We have to allow the orcas to have the food that has sustained them since the beginning of time.
Now we're the voice of trying to recreate a system that is habitable for the salmon that have been here for millions of years, not thousands of years, millions of years.
And what I teach in our ceremony is that everything has spirit. So share the goodness that you have and protect everything that has a spirit.
It's important to keep the continuity of the life of our relatives, the orcas. We've learned many things from them. We are relatives. We all are interrelated, interconnected beings, and we take care of them, they take care of us.
We look at the destruction of the last 50 years of dams. It's never going to go away. We're going to continue to be the voice because that's our obligation. That was our obligation in the beginning. That's our obligation today.
How could you not want to do something? And that's like a ceremony in itself. When you pick up your own baby, it's your own blood. It's everything of who you are, and you hold it and you love it and you take care of it. Why wouldn't you want to make a better world for part of what is essentially you?
Because we're here to take care of this life, this earth, for not only ourselves, but for our children, for our grandchildren, for the generations to come.
Share the goodness that you have and protect everything that has the spirit. Our lands, water, and human rights. Abide by those teachings of humanity. Every religious and spiritual belief have those same teachings. Doesn't have to be my way. Find a way. Find a way to connect.
I feel hopeful. I have to feel hopeful. We've seen a couple examples of how the salmon can come back. We've seen it through the Elwha Dam, and we've seen Klamath, and we know that we can open up these arteries and these veins and allow the life to flow and allow it to nourish the land again.
I share this story all the time. Driving over a bridge that goes from North Vancouver to Vancouver. And I said a prayer and I said, hey, show me some hope, show me some hope. And I looked down and there was a dandelion. And this concrete bridge that a truck went across and dumped some dirt there. Maybe a little seed fell off there. And it grew. It grew and it blossomed into something beautiful. And I said, there's the hope. So be a flower.
When we come together as friends, as relatives, as partners, and whatever profession that you have and whatever voice that you can carry, and it all carries together in a unified voice.
Together, we're going to do this. It's not just one person. We have to do this together.
Wow. Sorry, I have everyone unmuted, so I hear people. I see people's mouths moving and some clapping. Very well done. Thank you so much, Jay, for putting that together. Thoughts from those of you on the screen, or any questions for anyone who is watching?
I'd just like to say it was really powerful and moving. Thank you very much for creating that piece. I think everybody in the world needs to see it. Definitely. Beautifully done.
Very, very powerful and just kind of heart wrenching with the sounds of them and the suffering that you speak of, because it's so real and true. So everyone should see that.
It's a lot of information and very deep information in a short. We're human, right? And people aren't gonna sit and watch along. Some people may not, but this has you that whole time, and you're like, it doesn't even seem like 7 minutes. It felt like 2. So the production of it is just that's why it's really well done. It's to the point and very powerful, like Cindy says on the screen. Howard, you had not seen it yet. Thoughts?
Yeah, for me, seeing orcas and seeing salmon just bring me hope. Just to see them, just to experience them, to be in the world with them and see that. I remember so well last September and the September before, a year ago, at the Balcom Big Salmon Ranch on the Elwha River, that my brother Ken, with his foresight, acquired to set aside, to leave alone, to let it rewild, to let the not only just the river but the watershed that he could, to restore itself, to come back, to for nature to work out its wonders and regenerate, and to see, looking down over the bluff and seeing salmon in the pool, in the sort of the calm area of the river, staging, ready to go upstream. Probably they've already come up about 12 miles of rapids, and so needed to kind of regroup and rest up and head back up. And it's just a beauty to see. It brings me joy and hope every time I see them. So uh, I just would like to share that, and for more people to have that experience.
Yeah, someone was asking in the comments if it's okay to share, and I'm like, yeah, please do, because I do want everyone to see that. Peggy, did you say something already? I'm not sure if you.
No, I didn't. I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful for this this very relatively short video saying everything that people need to understand, and I really appreciate the words of wisdom that have been shared, and the need for stewardship of this home planet and all of our beings, and the magnificent salmon and the southern resident orcas. And so thank you for this, Jay. And is this going to be available, for example, on YouTube or some public source that we can share it widely, just this piece in itself, and post it around on social media and such?
It's on Vimeo right now, and I'll put that link there. But if you just go into vimeo.com and type in tribute to the orcas, it'll pop right up.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I put the link in the actual link in the comments as well for those of you on Facebook, but for those of you on YouTube, I'll go do that as well on YouTube. Tell us about the film, Jay. Like, I mean, it's beautiful, and I don't know how long you guys worked on it, or how you decided that needed to happen. I'm glad it did.
Well, I think the short film was birthed from a spectacular evening together with hundreds of people in Seattle. We hosted an event called Tribute to the Orca, and that night Chairman Wheeler and folks you saw on the screen in the film, myself and Alyssa Macy and many other great speakers spoke that evening, and and it was just a great feeling, a great event, brought a lot of hope. So from that event came this short 7-minute, and obviously we didn't get everybody in, but the point was what was most impactful. What's going to make the most difference? What was most touching, not just to us, but everybody? And that's, kind of what led to this.
I live in New Mexico, so I didn't get to go to that, but we definitely promoted it on TokiTV, and that was in June. It seems like it was just the other day, but that was in June. Howard, were you able to attend that event in June? No.
It was swept away by the feeling of shared destiny that I heard from speakers, that everyone was sharing their own feelings and asking for others to also have hope and have a sort of collective energy moving forward together to make things better. And it was energizing for me. It made me feel so much better.
And I'm just showing on the screen some of the folks who were there and speaking at that event. A couple people, mentioned in comments after that, that they did go and that it was beautiful. Just to hear all of you. There's a lot of sadness about the dams and the orcas, but there's also some inspiration that you provide, Jay, and you do so naturally. So I just want to thank you for that and being able to be able to express that. You spoke at the totem pole installation after Toki had passed, and I know the totem pole installation was planned prior to her passing, and we were all just devastated. But you got up there and you spoke, and it was just brings tears to my eyes now, because I remember. I may not remember the words, but I remember the energy when you were speaking, and it was beautiful, and it was heartfelt, and it was something that needed to be heard. You've been involved with the totem pole, the story and the sharing, and I wonder if there's anything you'd like to share regarding just the totem pole in general, and also that event, that tribute to Toki.
Yeah, I think so much has led up to this moment we're in right now, this very moment. And I think back to that day, August, was it 27th of last year, the totem pole install ceremony turned to a celebration of life. And what led to that totem pole? Well, what led to that totem pole was a motion made by Lhem in 2017, and then a visit to Miami in 2018. And Howard and I walked the Seaquarium, snuck in there, put our hats low, and just begin storytelling, telling a story. And I think the moment we're in right now is the incredible legacy of Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, Tokitai. And it's an incredible one, and it'll live for so long, because her suffering and her struggle, I think, and I hope, allows us to feel empathy for who it is and what it is we've become, to open our eyes, to open our hearts, and hopefully instill some urgency in all of us, especially policy making as we move forward, because it's really policy making and those philosophies that have gotten us to where we are today, the realities of where we are today. And that's what I think back to the captures and the kidnapping, and but I think about my family's struggle going back to 1855, and that moment I can remember y'all in TokiTV on that day in August. I remember it for some reason. I remember a moment, and how many folks watched the event on your show. I remember it was a large number. But do you remember that feeling of kind of, oh my God, she's gone. She's really gone. We're still kind of in that disbelief and that fight for so long and for so hard, so hard and for so long. That moment that we got to do something. And in the end, for us, while it's not what we hoped for and what we prayed for and what we anticipated, some of us saw her swimming here with her family, and having conversations over the years, because it was often asked, she's not, do you think she'll survive? And often our people and our elders would say, would you rather die in a prison thousands of miles from home and away from your family, or have your family at your bedside holding your hand as you cross to the other side? That's kind of our feeling and how we like to go personally and in our way. But in the end, she got to go home, and she's here. And the question you initially asked as the show began about them returning and the abundance of food, I don't think for one second that everything that has happened in August and her passing and all of the work and her being returned back home and set free in the Salish Sea, her remains, I don't think for one second that doesn't play a part in this, but only my imagination can take me to what the possibilities are. And for most of us, our understanding and relationship and connection to nature and the bigger world has been severed. But I hope our species can invite that imagination back, because we need that. We need to decolonize that imagination that once was, in order to have a relationship which is necessary to continue to have hope for the future. We have to have a relationship-based living with everything that is, not supremacy, not dominance. And so leading up to this, I just think there are so many moments and struggles, and I think about legacy. I'm so grateful for TokiTV, for Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, and all of her suffering, because I think it's going to make a difference in the world, and we just have to tell her story.
Thanks, Jay. I'm a stats nerd, so when you mentioned about how many people watched, I had to go look real quick. It was 2.3 thousand people watched that ceremony, whether they were on there that day or watched after. 2.3 thousand people, I think, felt that energy and that comfort that you provided. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of the, over 2,000 people that watched that ceremony, because we were all kind of struggling with how do we manage that. I know I was still in Miami during that event, and I streamed it from the hotel room, and Raynell was in the room next to me, because I was caring for her after her situation up there, and it was just really I don't know, comforting. And I don't know how to describe that. I think that might have been the first time I had felt some comfort after she had passed. So I want to say thank you for that. Christina, I know you were there, and Howard was there, and Deb Cruz was there, and it is important to share that information and her story, because we have to do something. It's got to spark something. We gotta do something. Christina, I don't know if there's anything you want to say that you were there at that event.
I'm with you. It was beautiful. I mean, it was really beautiful, like hauntingly beautiful, I think maybe. But that was the first time that I felt a little peace in my heart. So thank you. Yeah. And everyone else that was there, because there was a lot of people there, and it was very moving, and it really felt like a celebration, a tribute, and it was very healing. So I appreciate you.
Marcia, is there anything you want to share before we?
I want to just tell Jay, Toki's legacy is going to last a really, really, really long time. I just know that. She's touched so many people, and I feel like her bubble just continues to grow every time her story's told. And, there's another book about her. There's my book about her. There's people like you spreading her story, and the Lummi tribe, and I feel like it's a gathering storm of energy coming together to help them. And at the base of that is her struggle and her legacy. So it's very close to my heart. And I just wanted to share that.
Thanks. Someone asked, I do want to talk about Cecilia, but someone asked, Jay, you're there, you're on the water. Do you feel her presence there? I think is the question. Yeah, Jay, do you feel her presence there?
Do I feel her presence? I feel sometimes I feel fully satisfied. I just relived the moment where I'm going to share an incredible story with you that is real, and that is you couldn't. I mean, you can write this story, and it's almost unbelievable. But and this is why I feel she's here. One of the many reasons, but she passed, and I didn't know it. And I got a call, and I was on San Juan Island at my seafood market with my daughter and my son, and Seattle Times called me, and we have a long history with Seattle Times in relationship through the Coalport fight, through the Atlantic salmon net spill that Lummi led the charge on cleaning up, and for many decades we've had a close relationship with Seattle Times, who tells a great story for us on truth. But I got that call, and I didn't know she had passed, and I had to take a moment, and I said, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Yes, I just saw a post, and I'll read it to you." And then she goes, "Can I call? Do you want me to call you back? Do you need a moment?" And anyway, that happened, and a relative and good friend of mine, great friend of mine, close friend of mine, and Lummi Fisherman and elder, his daughter passed away a short period after, and long story short, I spent every moment with him from daylight until dark, until his daughter was placed in the ground. And the day she was placed into the ground, we have ceremonies. We have ceremonies that belong to families that not everybody can do. So we performed a ceremony at daylight the day she was going to be buried. And following that ceremony, TokiTV showed up at the beach at Lhem by boat, and we walked down to that beach, those of us who took part in that ceremony, private ceremony. And my friend Dana, whose daughter was going to be buried later that morning, we went down there and we got to see TokiTV, visited us, and we held up our hands, and they went north and placed her remains in the Salish Sea. But for me, I don't know if any of you have lost children. I have. I've lost a daughter. So I have deep empathy for my friend. And as we're walking up the beach from that very moment, as TokiTV drove off, Dana looked up at me as we're walking very slow, and he said, "How many other people can say they rode a whale home to the other side?" So, do I feel her? Absolutely. And she was laid to rest that day in our cemetery, and TokiTV was laid to rest in the Salish Sea. So yes, absolutely, I feel her. And it's a story that will exist for the rest of time. It can't be erased, and it's real. And that's TokiTV's story with Lhem and my friend and my relative and the late Danielle, who got to ride home with Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's to the other side, to the spirit world. And so yes, I do feel her.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Jay. It ties it in for me because I remember hearing, when they went out and they turned the boat, right? And I knew there was another ceremony that had just happened, and I didn't know you were there. So thank you for sharing that. Wow. Deb Cruz, anything you want to say?
Thank you, dear. Appreciate you being here. It's been an honor just to walk with you on the times that we've been able to walk together. And I hope we can do some more. And I hope that the rest of us can pull together the energy and the courage that's going to be needed to really make things happen for the Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's. I'm not feeling real good right now about what we're up against. But I know you're there. And that helps so much.
Thanks. It
Thank
does.
you.
It does help. Cecilia is the Lhem word for our grandmother, and I'm just going to read you the very front page of Cecilia's website. Our mission is to utilize Indigenous ancestral knowledge for the benefit of our Mother Earth, Indigenous lifeways, and for future generations. We offer strategies and plans to protect Indigenous sacred sites, areas, resources, and landscapes, and to promote the understanding of Indigenous ways of knowing the nature of law. And I'm going to share what the website looks like. And then, Jay, if you could talk to us about your organization and how we can support and what you guys are doing, because I know you're up to a lot of things here.
Yeah, I feel like we are still new, and but I think we're 3 or 4 years into the birth of Cecilia, and as Shanoa stated in the film, she mentions veins, and the veins being clogged up, and I think that's a metaphor or an analogy to help us connect with the understanding of the grandmother, our grandmother, Sk'aliCh'elh, Earth, Salish Sea, the rivers. Everything's a female and is a giver of life. And I'm not going to say I don't know exactly what we're doing, but we are doing a lot, and we want to do a lot around together, right? I retired from an elected leadership position back in 2019, and I feel, and I think many of us feel, nobody owes us anything. The Salish Sea and the rivers and the salmon and the orca, they don't owe us anything. We owe everything us. We owe them. We owe Earth. We owe everything. And this is the least of what we can do. TokiTV does good work and tells a story. Sk'aliCh'elh attempts to bring a deeper connection to your own relationship with everything that we use the word save. It changes everything if we are connected and view everything as a mother, because then it transforms everything. It can't be compromised. You can't do things like we've done in the past. And one of the things Sk'aliCh'elh is working on is I've become good friends with a fellow who was in technology, and I didn't like what he represented in terms of technology, but now I see it for good. And he used the word teleport. And I found myself, Deb, in our fight to protect and stop the largest coal port from being built in North America on our sacred sites, and using our waters. I found myself in DC. I found myself in Olympia, in locally, in nationally, trying to teleport people back in time to create a connection and empathy. And it's so hard when the imagination's been colonized and we live in two worlds. We're still caught in the old world. And I often share, I was raised by my great-grandparents who were raised by pre-contact individuals. So our connection is still extremely strong, and we don't fully understand why the newcomers think the way they think, implement policies the way they implement them, and justify doing some of the things that have been done. So not only how do we undo, but we have to see what has been done. What have we done? And that's the hope with Sk'aliCh'elh. And one of the many things that we are doing is to teleport, to create connection, to blend ceremony and spirit with science. We don't say science is wrong, but you have to have ceremony, spirit, and common sense with that science. So how do we bring that into the conversation around climate? These English words, climate, the English word change, the English word environment. See, these all mean so many different things. But in our language, it's different. It's connection. It's interconnected. So yeah, that's so Sk'aliCh'elh's. That's. I'm not going to go deep into it, but you can look on the website, and on San Juan Island this spring we'll launch at the Friday Harbor Clock Building. Sk'aliCh'elh's got that building on, and we'll start some of our virtual projects there.
Well, that's awesome. That's good to know. There's a quote on your website, and it just kind of how when you said like we don't really know what we're doing, but I want to read that, and it's from the website, and it says, "We sit in the lap of Mother Earth, learning all there is to learn, not all at once, but built up over a lifetime, every day." We need to keep learning to never quit learning. And that was written by a Lummi elder. That just felt appropriate to share that.
He was with Deb in Bellingham at the Unitarian today. Richard Solomon, yes. I call him Oksala. In our language, that means teacher. He's a great teacher. He was raised by my great grandparents.
I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and he participated in one of our video projects. And yeah, what a neat guy. What a neat guy. Jay, thanks so much for being with us. I just want to encourage everyone to go to the website. There's a donate button, which I have ready to go, and to really support the work that you guys are doing. Thank you for coming on. I hope you come on again. I don't know why you haven't been on before, but I have a feeling you're going to get lots of requests to come share with us what you guys are up to, because we're all connected, and however we can support each other is really important, because we're all here for them. So thank you again, Jay, so much.
It would be an honor anytime. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for your voice and for your work and passion.
Thanks so much. Marcia, did you have your hand raised?
No, but I can say my piece if you'd like. No, just once again, thank you, Jay. Your voice is very powerful, and I do feel like there is change coming. I feel positive in the face of, everything that we're staring down the barrel at, environmentally. So I think if we can keep that passion alive like you're doing, we will always carry that torch of hope. We have to. We can't lay down and just go, oh, well, things look ugly. Let's give up. No one in this screen or anyone that I know is going to do that. So we're behind you, and thanks for your wonderful storytelling.
Thanks. And for anyone who does sometimes feel like giving up, the people on this screen will definitely be the ones to pull each other up, even when we're all feeling a little down. Just know we can reach out, and you guys can too. If anyone needs support. Peggy asked to be here specifically today because she would like to share some things with you all as well. Peggy? Oops, I have you muted. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Thank you, Annette. And I just really also wanted to express my appreciation of Jay, and hope that you do come back and continue to share of your good work. Really appreciate the bit of history that you've had with Howard sneaking in to see TokiTV, Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, and all your good work now. So thank you for the inspiration and keeping us in a place of wisdom and connectedness. Thank you. So people who've been watching me for the past month or so on TokiTV would know about the activist pack, which we have reasons to breach the dam. These are all downloadable items. I've mentioned it before. We even have a QR code so that people can just scan and go to our page to save the Southern. I'm using that word "save," but that's the title of our webpage. And you can download for free this activist pack with just a couple of posters and these postcards that you can download. They're set up up on a page to print and stuff. But today, special offer. The first 3 people who direct message me here, I guess on Facebook or Instagram, I will send you whatever number you pledge to collect messages on are these postcards that we've set up. We got permission from damntruth.org to use their graphic. People can, of course, create their own. I have like 2 sample sentences that are the key sentences to urge President Biden to breach the 4 lower Snake River dams. And as we know, time is running out with this opportunity with President Biden. And I hope that people will take this opportunity and do this now. So contact me and tell me how many you will pledge to collect messages on. Holidays are upon us. Thanksgiving is this Thursday, and if anybody contacts me today, I can get it in the mail to you tomorrow, so you can take this to your family and friend gatherings and make it a fun activity, a positive activity. So thank you.
That's really awesome, guys. So if you haven't gone and printed your own postcards, Peggy is saying the first 3 people to message her with the number you pledge, number of postcards you pledge to have people fill out, get messages on. She's going to send you the postcards. So I think you should do that if you haven't printed yourself. I love getting mail from Peggy. It's very, very special. So she's willing to share that. She does go to the post office, unlike me, who does not. But Peggy is offering to do that. So I think folks should take her up on that. That's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Peggy. And yes, as families are gathering this weekend, have them write a letter. Again, even if it's not on a postcard, you don't have a postcard, just have them write a letter. Whatever you can do to get folks on would be really appreciated. So with that, I think, Jay fell off. But we are approaching our hours. So Jay, if you go back and watch this, thank you again for coming on today. Please come back. And Deb Cruz, thank you for getting Jay through Kurt. Thank you, Kurt, for helping us get Jay on the show today. Really appreciate it. We can't end yet.
Good fishing, Jay.
Oh, he just.
Oh.
He just that's okay. I do want to. Before we close, we've had some really tough news this week, and I just I don't know, Deb Cruz, if there's anything you want to say, but you guys, captivity has got to go. As you guys know, some people say keto, some people say Cato. The beautiful orca at Laurel Park who passed away, just want to be able to maybe a moment of silence, trying to get a picture up just to share. It's been really, really tough. And you know what they say, don't buy a ticket. Yeah, please don't buy a ticket, you guys. This is heartbreaking. I don't know how else to describe when he did, when the trainer passed in Laurel Park, due to the interaction with Cato. I just think how frustrating these majestic beings must be in those tanks. And I'm just really sad that we lost another and will continue to lose them because captivity is not where they should be. Deb Cruz, if you want to say anything.
Is Deb?
Yeah, I'm here. We just got to keep taking our steps forward and doing what we can to protect what we can. We're not going to save everybody. And our struggles are going to get more challenging. But we just got to stay committed and take a minute for Cato. And send him home.
I'm gonna share a photo of him from the Dolphin Project website. They've done a wonderful job of keeping everyone updated the last few days on what's been going on with him. So there's a photo there for you guys to take a look at. "29 years old." That's him in the back there in that picture. I think you guys are seeing the picture, yeah.
It's always so hard to know what orcas are feeling, what they're thinking, because their faces don't show expressions.
Right.
But Quito and Tillicum certainly showed how they were feeling at certain points in time.
Yeah.
And I think they speak for all of the captives that it's a very painful, stressful, traumatic time, but Toki showed us, I think, that they can transcend that. They can overcome it and feel love and passion and empathy for others and the joy of life. They can. And she did. And the others do, but she had hard days too. I have no doubt.
Yeah. Like the with the passing of Sk'aliCh'elh-tenaut's, I think that the comforting thing is he is probably home with his ancestors as well, whether he was born in captivity or not. He is with his ancestors, finally free.
Yeah.
Peggy?
I just wanted to share that I pretty much, feel as all here are reflecting on how there is a lot of sadness and tragedy around every captive, orca and cetacean, and that we continue to raise awareness through urging people to watch Blackfish, because there are people that may have not have seen it, and talk about it and about the cove, and of course to share Tokite's story and not to let her life that she lived in captivity to go in vain, to remember her always, and to do everything we can for her families.
Thanks, Peggy.
Yeah, thank you.
Marcia, Christina, anything you guys want to add before we close today?
Just that it is utterly heartbreaking to see such a young, vibrant animal like Cato die so young like that. And it does really frustrate me because I'm sure, we had to hear the same industry garbage. Oh, Toki's geriatric and blah, blah, blah. And I fought them on that every single moment because my age, what are you calling me right now?
Exactly.
I think it's just heartbreaking, but when these whales pass away, it just underlines their plight. And it sucks that they have to be martyrs for their species in that way, but we're seeing it in real time, and it just feels like the clock is really ticking for them. But I know he's back with his people and his ancestors, and he's not alone, and he's swimming in those straight lines like Toki did, and I know she did. So bless his heart. I'm sorry that he went like that. We just need more eyes on those stories. Let's keep sharing that.
Can I add one more thing? I just want to acknowledge Marcia's beautiful blog that she wrote and posted and tagged some of us on Facebook. Is really, I hope that more people will be reading it. I did. I think we can share that across social media and such, and it's beautifully written, and it's yeah. So thank you, Marcia.
Thanks, Peggy. Yeah, share away. It's hard to get people's interest and eyeballs on things. So let's just spray it everywhere. Some of it'll stick, right?
Thanks, Christina.
it was just really heart-wrenching every time one of the captives died, and it was really hard because he was born in captivity. So it just, I don't know, for some reason it makes it kind of worse because he never got to be free. Just keep spreading the word, and we're gonna stop that. It's going to end. It's going to, for sure. Yep. And like with TokiTV's story, yep. Keep spreading the news. Keep watching Southern Resident Orca when it comes out, or if it shows when you're there somewhere where it's showing. Oh my God, I love you guys.
Remember, guys, we share amongst each other to write to the White House, to continue to write, sending postcards, sending letters. We're doing it. There's so many people out there who are not, who would be if they knew what was happening. So please share this information. Share Peggy's website, stations.org. The activist pack is so well done. It's so easy. Yes, we're feeling down. But I hope that springs us into action and continue to share this information with others who will be in action as well. We can make a difference. We will make a difference, and we got to keep going with it. So thank you guys. We'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. Good guest next week as well. So I'm looking forward to how we're going to close out this year with our special guests. You guys have a wonderful week. And Howard, hopefully, oh, there you go. Look at, he's got on the back of his phone there. Yay. All right, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Enjoy your families, and remember that we are here and standing for Toki's family always.
Right.
Love you all.
Love you guys.